So let's talk about Google's helpful content update. So what are we dealing with and what did Google say? So this is a slide that I will read because it's important, and it comes from Google's developer blog. So Google said, quote, "We are launching what we call the helpful content update that's part of a broader effort to ensure people see more original, helpful content written by people, for people in search results." So they're not really saying anything new there. What they've said in the past is that if you write content for search engines, it's not going to rank. Content for search engines would mean, my name is David Wank, and I am a real estate attorney in Millburn, New Jersey. I love being a real estate attorney in Millburn, New Jersey, because people in Millburn, New Jersey love to have real estate in Millburn, New Jersey. That is content that's written for search engines. Whereas if you're writing natural content for people, which we've always said you should do, that is what they want to see. But now, and we've always known that. That's, those of you who've known me know that I've been saying that for a decade, and that hasn't changed. What seems to have changed, though, is this. Now, Google has said the helpful content update aims to better reward content where visitors feel they've had a satisfying experience, while content that doesn't meet a visitor's expectations won't perform as well. So let's dig into that. So what that means is that content written for people is going to be rewarded, and Google's going to push down content that was written for search engines or that it doesn't like. Now, how is this different from anything before? Hard to tell, but Google is now actively talking about how they are looking for people-written content. So we don't know if they're going to push a page down in search engine listings or if they're going to pull other pages up. Either way, the net result is going to be the same. So let's just break this down, though. The helpful content update aims to better reward content where visitors feel they've had a satisfying experience, while content that doesn't meet a visitor's expectations won't perform as well. So the question that I have, and everyone has, is how do we know when a visitor feels they've had a satisfying experience? That is subjective, and it's very difficult to know where visitors feel they've had a satisfying experience. And that, again, doesn't meet a visitor's expectations, won't perform as well. How could we possibly measure what visitors' expectations are? So that's not easy to do, but there are ways that we can do it. So what do we know? We know that we need content, and we know that we need quality content. But now what? What is quality content? Well, what is it? So let's ask, how does Google judge content? And here's the link where we found out, and they gave us a list. So let's go through the list and see how we do. So number one, do you have an existing or intended audience for your business or site that would find the content useful if they came directly to you? Yes, that applies to almost all of us. As a web developer, I have a web developer website. As a dentist, you've got a dental website. As a physician, you've got your physician website. What they're looking at here is for websites that try and be more things than there really are, to try and get extra traffic by aggregating other content that really isn't a source in and of itself of content, like your dental website or your legal website or a medical website. So that's a check mark for us. Two, does your content clearly demonstrate firsthand expertise and a depth of knowledge? For example, expertise that comes from having actually used a product or service or visiting a place. And I would say yes for most of us. I mean, clearly, if we are a lawyer and we're writing about the law, about here are the real estate laws and here are the steps you need when you buy a house, or you're a dentist and here are the steps, here's the reasons why you have to have a cleaning every 6 months. So that's certainly a check mark for us as well. Now, does your site have a primary purpose or focus? Again, yes. If it's about, but again, if you're building some kind of aggregator website that's aggregating content from all over the place, your site might not have a primary purpose or focus. Aggregating content might not really count as a focus. But for those of us who are small business owners or running in the professional service industry or both, there's crossover. Yes, it has a primary purpose or focus. And those three questions seem pretty much the same to me, but it's the same thing asked in different ways. But hey, this is exactly taken from Google's list of questions. Now, number 4, here's where it gets interesting. After reading your content, will someone leave feeling they've learned enough about a topic to help achieve their goal? And I wrote subjective and opportunity. First of all, if someone's learned enough about a topic to achieve their goal, why would they leave? So this is certainly subjective. Um, how can we tell? But it's also an opportunity because we want to make sure that people felt they learned enough about a topic to achieve their goal. Now, same question here. Will someone reading your content leave feeling like they've had a satisfying experience? Well, again, if they've had a satisfying experience, why would they leave? I would think if they had a satisfying experience, they would contact us or do something like that. So this is subjective, but it's also an opportunity. Now, core updates. Google's core updates, we said earlier that, content is king and that you always want to have, quality content. And Google has been saying this for years and years and years, what makes good content. So I'm just going to read a few of these because these are the important ones. At the very end of this presentation, I have a whole list where I checked off the kind of important ones, but just to show you, these are the key. And these you should have anyway. So do the heading and subheadings fit with the content? Does the author sound authoritative with an expert level knowledge? Is the content free of factual errors? Is it presented well? Spelling errors, so neatness counts. Organized layout that appears planned. Does the content display well? So here's an example of content that we just wrote literally for one of our SEO clients. And we're going to talk about the hub and spoke model in a few minutes. But this is the top 8 questions about general dentistry answered. So do the headings and subheadings fit with the content? Yes. What treatments are available for covering roots? Here's content. What is dental bonding? I have constant bad breath. What could the problem be? So these are all headings and subheadings fit with the content. I wrote it. It's certainly authoritative. It's certainly free of factual errors. The content is presented well, and it displays well on mobile. Now, what we're going to do as the next step for this client is we're going to start linking now to these exposed roots to his probably sensitivity page. We'll take the dental bonding to the composite page, the whitening composite, or we'll take it to the white fillings page, or maybe even to a cosmetic dentistry page. But the point is that we're making this long form content and we're linking it to other content on the website. So this is so no matter what content you have, this should be a no-brainer in terms of the subheadings and headings fit. Are you authoritative? Like these should be things that you learn when you do your homework. This is how your homework should come into class. It should be done properly. So you think I'm okay. So you'll probably be okay if you've written your own content, you're probably okay because you check, at least all these boxes. You're authoritative, factual errors. I would hope you spell check. You've customized any stock content. We sell stock content for dentists, and I encourage people to obviously customize that content. Not everybody does, but I certainly encourage you to customize it because that gives it a new touch. You have proper site architecture and internal linking structure. That is really how your website was built. These days, there's really no excuse not to have proper architecture and internal linking structure. That's something you can ask your web provider about. And that your website is neat, organized, and easy to read on desktop and mobile. And again, that's something you can certainly look at and see. We all know when you see a website that is easy to read, looks smooth to your eyes, and you can check it on desktop, and you can certainly check your website on your mobile device to make sure that it looks good.